Good evening. Phil Lindemann with your Krystal 93 News from Luna Lending. State pet officials are giving kudos to a pair of local dog kennels that closed immediately for a mysterious illness. Nick Fisher oversees state licensing for kennels and shelters, and he applauds both local kennels for voluntarily closing when 3 dogs suddenly became ill with coughing, phlegm, and lethargy. Further inspection by Fisher's office confirms 2 dogs died and 1 recovered after it was reported seriously sick. Both dogs died of pneumonia. 1 was caused by E.coli. Fisher's office could not determine where that disease came from, but confirms it has not spread, and there are no recent reports of similar illness in Summit or elsewhere. Tomorrow is opening night of Pretty Lights at Dillon Amphitheater and round 2 of Dillon's paid parking experiment, with a twist.
We are going to be working with our partners at Interstate Parking to come up with solutions for this next round of pilot programming here for the 3 nights of Pretty Lights.
That was Town Manager Nathan Johnson. You will pay for parking at the amphitheater lot all 3 nights. Parking will also be severely limited at the marina. Do not park at the post office. You will get towed. Town of Frisco is spending nearly $40 million on 28 capital projects this year. It is one of the biggest spends in years. As of today, 10 projects are finished and 5 are under construction. The rest are in early stages. More than half, nearly $23 million, is going to housing and recreation. Affordable apartments on Granite Street in partnership with CDOT and Slopeside Hall at the Adventure Park. This week on the State of Summit.
So far here in Colorado, it is beautiful, but it's a good day for the fish.
That was a visiting angler, Tom, in town from New York. He was fishing the Swan River off Tiger Road.
Generally fish small streams like this, usually with trees and bushes all around.
The Swan, as it is today, has no shrubs taller than hip height. The riverbed itself is less than a decade old. Summit County Open Space Specialist Jordan Mead.
Just a few short years ago, big piles of dredge rock where the boats were just coming through and scooping up all the sediment.
Like French Creek, just to the south, the Swan was decimated by dredge mining. Reestablishing the Swan is the county's biggest restoration project to date.
It really got started when a Forest Service fisheries biologist identified cutthroat trout in the North Fork of the Swan River.
That discovery of native fish put it on the fast track for restoration. Today, just over a decade later, the county has restored all 40 acres on public open space.
Just the first year we opened the channel up, we saw fish moving in before we even completed the restoration projects.
And the work is not finished. Private landowners upstream are working with the Blue River Watershed Group to restore the remaining forks. Spokeswoman Vanessa Loxon.
We're about halfway through that restoration project, and we really need public support to help us bring it home and restore the entire connectivity of that drainage.
Tom, the New York angler, is impressed with this collaboration. He had no idea the Swan was recently restored.
There's a lot of reliance on private sector in New York, whereas it seems to be both in Colorado, which is kind of encouraging.
Mother Nature spent centuries carving the Swan. Mining destroyed it in just years. Mead's goal for restoration is somewhere in between.
Hopefully within the next 20 years, we have this fully restored stream channel all the way up to the 3 forks.
Tune in again next week for the State of Summit on Krystal 93. Local fire danger is moderate again today in Summit, still with no fire restrictions. And in sports, the Rockies lost to the Brewers this afternoon, 7-6. Phil Lindemann, Krystal 93 News.